Okay, today I'm cooking one of my all-time favorite recipes, and I know also that it's an all-time favorite recipe of my customers as well. I'm doing my famous Vietnamese spring roll. Many people over the years have said, "Oh my God, Simmone, I'm so addicted to your Vietnamese spring roll." And I've said, or I've thought, they're not addicted to the roll, they're actually addicted to my move over Paul Newman. I'm coming on through my Sockataruni Thai dipping sauce. We're going to start with a couple of cups of sweet chili sauce for sweetness. Ketchup mayonnaise, so rich, so sweet. This is the Indonesian soy sauce. A cup of fish sauce, which brings the saltiness. Got a bit of competition today. I've got a bit of lemon, it's about 2 cups of lemon juice. Veggie oil to bring it all together. Some lovely smoky organic sesame oil. Doesn't matter if it's not organic, but that's what I have in my pantry today. We'll start with some KAFFIR lime. I like to just chop that up because we're going to be whizzing in a little minute. Fresh coriander and fresh mint from the garden. I like to use this garden variety. It's the round leaf. And you know, it really reminds me of when we were kids, when we used to get under the hose in the backyard under the sprinkler on those really hot days. And this mint would be growing around the back garden tap. So every time I smell it, it takes me back to when, you know, it was about 5. So I take that off the stalk because we don't want these woody bits. We'll give those to the chickens. And then mirin. I don't think the mirin's a big deal, but if you've got it in your pantry, pop it in for another layer, but it's no biggie if you don't have that. And this sauce recipe will be on my website because I know there's so many ingredients, but it's all worth it because it's really complex. Okay, so we just give it a little start and then we add a few more aromatics. Stick with me because it's important. So garlic, just peel and put the whole ones in, 2. And I've got a knob of ginger about the size of 2 thumbs. I'm going to peel it because the peel is a little bit woody, so when you're trying to whiz it up, it may not whiz up as well if you leave the skin on. This sauce really is very aromatic. And lemongrass. Just the white end bits, not the really woody, dry end of the lemongrass. Get the bits on the root end. Okay, now we're going to make the filling. I've cooked half a packet of vermicelli noodle and just drain them so they're nice and dry. I'm going to give them a little chop, just so they're a little bit easier to eat, and into a bowl. Half a dozen shallots, just cut the green bits off, and a fine slice. Carrots, 2. I'm going to take the skins off because if you leave them on, I would normally, if I'm cooking a slow cooked dish, I'd leave the skin on because I think there's a lot of goodness there. Making a salad and using carrot, I always take the skin off because it does tend to oxidize. And so you get these brown bits that it doesn't look clean and nice and perky in your salad. And then a quick grate on the big grate side, because you don't want the grate to be too small, or, you know, as I always talk about making salads, don't, you know, cut it all too fine because it does really disintegrate the longer it's left there in the bowl. then tofu. You want the hard one, not the soft one. And that's a lot easier to grate. Grate that in. Tofu. And just with these end bits, just chop that in so we don't leave anything behind. The fresh and perky component. Half a bunch of coriander. See how I try and use all the parts of the coriander. I always save the roots for when I'm cooking something like a Moroccan lamb dish. And then this lovely garden mint again, half a bunch. Just the woody ends off for crunch. Peanuts, and whenever I cook or make salads with peanuts, I always roast them. You get a lot more out of that, a lot more crunch, a lot more flavour. 1/3 of a cup, and 1/3 of a cup of fried onion. So if you're cooking for people that have intolerance to peanut, you can always use cashew or macadamia. Okay, so now we're going to mix it and we have to get our hands in. Just a gentle toss. I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in because I can't help myself. Some pepper. Okay, now for the fun bit. I'm going to roll. So what you'll need is a clean, dry bench with lots of space. Space is your best friend when you're rolling Vietnamese spring rolls. And then a nice big bowl with hot water, as hot as you can actually put your hands in. And then these are about 10 inch. They're the lovely rice paper. What I do is I take each individual rice paper and put it in the water separately. Just push down. I'm going to do 6 to start. Just leave them to soak in there for a minute or so. You want them to be a little bit soft, but not too soft that you can't handle. Pull the rice papers out of the water and give them a little squeeze to take as much water out as possible, and lay down on the bench. And then as quickly as you can, just peel. And as you can see, I've done this quite a bit. Just peel them off individually and lay them flat on the bench. Then the mint, because what we're trying to do is build the really pretty garnish, because they're not only going to taste amazing, they're going to look really, really pretty as well. So we lay a nice fresh piece of mint, and then today I'm using the prawn. Just going to pop a prawn there. I've just cooked those in salty water, and heads and tails off, and the track taken out. And then, as I like to do, a pretty little piece of rose. But if you've got nasturtium or another pretty edible flower in your garden, you can always use that. And then here we have our lovely mix that we made earlier. We're just going to take a nice handful. Now for the rolling. So what I do is I fold the bottom half over halfway, and then each side in, folding in about 1 finger crossing over. And then just like a little present, I give a little pull and roll gently. Then I like to put a little bit of fresh lime on the platter, rose and fresh mint. And here we have it, my beautiful Vietnamese spring rolls with fresh prawn, mint and rose. Food from the heart.